Hi Charlotte, we'll start by taking a look at your breaststroke. So the first thing we want to point out here is your body position in relation to the surface of the water. You can see here that there's quite a difference between the two, and your body's sitting a little bit lower than what we want to see. Your goal for your swim should always be to make sure that you're directing your momentum forward, and any deviations to where you end up swimming down or back up is going to hinder that performance and ultimately slow you down. So as you go to begin this next stroke, you can see that your body starts to come up towards the surface and creep up towards the position that we're looking for. And as you go to start your pull, you do a nice job here of rounding the corners and getting a good grip on the water on that initial part of the pull. We're looking for the elbows to stay nice and high close towards the surface, right up here on the one side. Other side could be a little bit higher. And then you really want to make sure that you're digging into the water. So use those forearms and fingertips to kind of grab onto that water, holding it against the forearms and the fingertips, really trying to dig in so that way you can lift your head and chest up out of the water and you can bring your hips forward underneath you. This strong grip on the water is going to allow you to raise your head and your chest up out of the water as one, and we can see that here above the water there's those two pieces coming up into this nice high vertical position, nice and tall above the water. Now the reason we come up this high is so we can take that powerful positioning and turn it into momentum going forward, again not down, going forward, and we need to make sure that in the position we are properly supported underneath the water. That ultimately is going to make sure that we are supported and not falling down, and that is going to involve the elbows right here. So you can notice that the elbows are kind of stuck back behind the shoulders, and we want to make sure that they're more in front of the chest like they are right here. So flipping back just a little bit at the end of the pull and grabbing that water, you want to focus specifically on your elbows, and you want to think about flipping those elbows in front of the chest. That is going to bring the hands and the forearms in front of the chest as well, and you're going to end up in this position right here without all of that extra backtracking behind you to come back to the front. This ultimately creates a faster pull, a more powerful pull, and it sets you up for, again, a nice support system. You can see your arms are parallel with the surface here, your body is up in that nice high vertical position, and this right here is preventing your body from falling forward. Now at this point you need to begin the recovery portion, so you're going to drive those hands forward right at the surface of the water. Again, you want to point those fingertips forward and you're going to direct that momentum in the forward direction just underneath the surface of the water here. Up above the water, as those arms go forward, we're going to keep that head and chest together as one, and you're going to fall and face plant into the water. As those arms go forward, that helps put momentum onto the arms, driving them even faster going to the forward direction. So you can see here that as those arms go forward, there's that head and chest falling together as one, that nice face planting into the water, and then back underneath the water, you can see there's those hands driving down towards the bottom. This is a two-part motion. Those arms go forward first, and then the head and the chest are going to fall. By having those arms fully extended up in the front right at the surface and letting the head and chest fall, you can also add a third piece into this where you press that chest down. And we know from a butterfly that if we press our chest down, that's going to pop our hips up, and that's going to create a little bit of rotation. Your rotation for breaststroke and butterfly is the same. If that chest presses down, the hips are going to pop up, and there's the third piece to kind of add momentum to your pull. So as all these pieces come together, you come into that nice flat line, and it is again a little bit farther below the surface than what we would want to see. By having those hands go forward first, that helps create kind of a barrier, and then you can press that head and chest down, and that'll provide that rotation, but you won't take that momentum down. This will make going into your next stroke a lot easier. You won't have to wait and hesitate before going back up to the surface and having this extra roller coaster motion before you begin that next pull. And the last piece to tie all this together is going to be that breaststroke kick. In terms of the timing, a really nice job. You can see that those arms are going forward and the feet are starting to come up towards the hips. As those feet come up, you do a nice job of keeping that kick narrow. We want to make sure that the knees stay in line with the shoulders, just like what they do here. And as those feet come up towards the hips, the toes turn out to be the widest point of the kick. Excellent job here. You can see that those knees are still nice and close together, nicely in line with the shoulders. And what this does here is it creates a nice narrow kick that matches the speed of the pull. As those feet turn out and around and snap back together, just make sure they come all the way back together and you get those toes pointed back to help again with that lifting up towards the surface. Nice job coming back together, and again, body positioning is going to be very, very important here, and it'll be much easier if you are right up on top of the water. Nice job on your breaststroke. Keep up the good work.